Major League Baseball welcomes you to the following presentation of the Minnesota Twins.
Twins have won 3 straight ball games, and last night was certainly a highlight so far this season. Bailey Ober with his 3rd career complete game, but for the first time he went all 9, did not allow a single run. He was magnificent. The Twins taking game 1 over Miami 3-0 the final, and look to make it 2 straight in this series here tonight. Minnesota Twins baseball is presented by Progressive. Beautiful night here at Target Field. Game 2 coming up as the Twins take on the Miami Marlins. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Target Field and Twins baseball. I'm Corey Provis. Yes, the headline last night clearly was the performance we saw from Bailey Ober, and things were scoreless. Esteury Urias also pitching well for Miami last night, but then things changed in the 5th inning. Again, neither team had scored, and the Twins put some pressure on, did so by running the bases, 1st and 3rd, in fact, and the Twins tried something they have yet to try this season. That was a double steal, including Byron Buxton stealing home successfully for the first time in his career. It was a key play in the game. For more on that earlier, my colleagues Justin Morneau and Paul Molitor broke it down, and here's what they had to say.
All right, thanks, Corey. We had a play last night. Buxton, Larnach, double steal at home. Larnach on first base, Buxton on third base. Ended up being a key play in the game.
Yeah.
And Molly, take us through what leads a manager to decide to run that play in that certain situation.
There are a lot of layers to the 1st and 3rd situations, especially with 2 outs. I think Derek Shelton had one of 2 things in mind. Probably the first thought was, I don't think they're going to throw through with Buxton at third base. And if they're not, I'm going to take it on the first pitch and get 2nd and 3rd for Jeffers. And if they're foolish enough to throw through, then maybe I can steal that first run of the game with Buxton having great instincts over there. Larnach's job, stop, don't get tagged out before Buxton crosses the plate. We executed it very, very well. Defensively, not as much. Probably shouldn't have thrown, and when they did, they waited too long to observe Buxton over there trying to score from third base.
So as this play is coming up, you're obviously cognizant of the score. You know what's going on in the game, but is this something you would communicate to the base runners before they leave the dugout, or is this more like a play that you have in your mind, and if this situation comes up?
I think as a manager, you know, that scenario, 1st and 3rd, things that can potentially happen, you run through that in spring training. You know when you have a straight steal, when you have a or a steal and stop sign, the guy on 3rd, whether you want him to go on the actual throw if it goes through, or wait to read to see how the rundown unfolds. But yeah, as a manager, you're making sure that all those things are covered. Not necessarily in that day, right before that play, but in general, they should have a good feel of how it's going to look.
So, Corey, a play that the Twins executed very well, but a lot of layers behind it, a lot of thought going into it before that play actually happens, and the Twins end up getting a big run out of it.
Great breakdown. We thank you both for that breakdown last night. Twins playing well. Positive vibes right now for the team. Audra has more on that when we come back on Twins TV.
Are you one of
Minnesota Twins baseball is presented by Progressive Insurance. A grand slam for your budget. Visit Progressive.com. And by Ford. Visit local.ford.com or your local Northland Ford dealer today.
Tonight for the Marlins, it's the hometown kid taking on the hometown team. Woodbury's own Max Meyer faces the Twins for the first time in his career in what has been a great season for the team that drafted him 3rd overall back in 2020. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Target Field. I'm Audra Martin. One of the best things about baseball is knowing that over 162 games, you never really know what you may see at the ballpark. Over the last 3 games, Twins fans have seen a lot to cheer about. What an exciting stretch it has been. Because Saturday night in Cleveland, it was an extra inning victory, somehow with just 2 hits on the board. By Sunday, they had picked up their first series win over the Guardians since 2023. But then came last night. Bailey Ober, absolutely phenomenal, cruising to his first career complete game shutout and doing it on just 89 pitches. That's 3 straight wins for the first time in a month, and a lot of excitement and momentum to build on.
I think that was great. I mean, that's a great series win, especially when those games are so close
tight knit as they were. I mean, that shows a lot of testament to the guys here. You know, you've seen it all season. We don't really give up, even when we fall behind or anything of that sort. I think we always believe, and we're in the game and we can win it.
Just battling the whole game, you know, not giving up in the late innings or whether it be the early innings if things aren't going well. I mean, you saw how many defensive plays we made in there in Cleveland, you know, between Brooks and Keish. And we were joking that, like, having the 5-man infield twice and it worked out both times, like, you don't very rarely see that. So I think that's just not taking any situation for granted and just, you know, kind of battling through it and, you know, staying in the game that way.
And now it's time to keep all of it going to make it 4 in a row. Twins looking for the series win, and it's all coming your way next from Target Field.
Minnesota Twins baseball is presented by Progressive. We had a wonderful night for baseball last night, and more of the same, if not even better tonight. Clear skies, plenty of sunshine, in the low 70s. Chamber of Commerce evening here at the ballpark. Game 2 coming up. Twins and Miami. Clayton McCullough and the Marlins are 5-11 on the road so far this season. 19-23 overall. Same record as the Twins, who have won their last 3. Twins seeking their first series win over a National League team so far this season. Twins so far 10 games in are 3-7 against the National League so far. The Ford Miami batting order, many of the same names as we saw last night. The top 3 tough outs: Xavier Edwards, Liam Hicks, and Otto Lopez, who leads all the baseball in hits. Connor Norby from Brooklyn Park, he'll bat 5th, played 3rd last night. He was at first base tonight. Leo Jimenez at 3rd base. Owen Casey in right, and Joe Mack once again will catch the young rookie, 4th best prospect in Miami's system, entering the season per MLB.com. And that's the group that will face Simeon Woods Richardson, who still is seeking his first win of the season tonight. Morty, his numbers are brought to you by CarShield.
I think if he's able to take a page out of Bailey Ober's book from last night and go out there and just see how effective it can be, change speeds, location, being able to mix, being able to land pitches, and then being able to get some chase later in the at-bats will go a long way. But it'll also be interesting to see if these Miami hitters make an adjustment, being that, you know, similar velocity-wise. I know Sim throws a little bit harder, but are the patterns going to be similar? How are the Twins going to change up their game calling as well, with 2 right-handers kind of going back-to-back and really going to have to use all their pitches? Obviously, Sim's going to try and replicate what Bailey did last night, but at the same time, are we going to see a different look, different catcher behind the plate? How are they going to change that up? How are they going to keep him off balance? And this will be the defense behind him will be Martin in left. Hard to keep his bat out of the lineup with how well he's been playing. Buxton and Waldner back there in right. Tristan Gray at 3rd base. Brooks Lee, Keyshaw at 2nd. Clemens in there 1st. And as I mentioned, Caratini doing the catching.
Xavier Edwards hitting .314, 7th best average so far in all of baseball. 0 for 4 last night with a strikeout. That is tough to do, like many in this lineup. The Marlins have many hitters, and their walk rate, strikeout rate is nearly identical. We'll see if Sim can pick up that first victory here tonight. Beautiful night. Interleague baseball from Target Field as Woods Richardson digs in against Xavier Edwards, and the first pitch is taken over but low at 92. With that, we are underway here tonight from downtown Minneapolis.
Good night to be a hitter. Hands aren't going to be freezing. You get to go out there and watch the ball fly a little bit more. This park, when I feel like this park, 65, 70 degrees is really when things ball starts to carry a lot more. You see those balls in the gap kind of not get run down as much as they do early when it's cold.
Three balls and no strikes at Edwards. So key last night, the fact that the Twins did not walk a single Miami hitter. And you see Buxton right now, he is battling the sun in straightaway center, and a 4-pitch walk to start the night. And that's a no-no against this Miami team, as they have plenty of speed up and down this lineup. First, though, we take a look at our keys to the game, brought to you as always by Toyota.
Yeah, follow the leader in that, and hunt the heart. So follow the leader. See if you can do what Bailey Ober did last night, working ahead, doing all those things that I mentioned earlier, and then Hunt the Heart. Max Meyer gets a lot of chase, especially with the sweeper, the slider. So get him over the middle of the plate. Make him come to you. Try and stay within the zone. The Twins did a good job of that last night. So a guy with plus stuff and strikeout type stuff, you got to get him over the plate. And something Shelty mentioned in his media before the game.
Get me over curveball to left-handed hitting Liam Hicks. Now fastball misses high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Molly, what's your assessment so far watching Sim before tonight 8 starts in?
Well, it hasn't gone very well, to be honest with you. I think he's trying to find the right combination and pitch sequence. You know, that splitter that was so effective for him last year he has not found that depth on that pitch that I think he needs to be successful. But I think he's a smart young man, and he realizes every time he has an opportunity to go back out there and make that next start, he's looking for that one to be the one that turns his season around.
Edwards 4 stolen bases stays the 1-1, and there's the splitter drifting outside. And a 2 ball 1 strike count on Liam Hicks, 3rd in all of baseball with 35 RBI. He has 11 multi-RBI games this season, tied for the most in the sport. Originally drafted by the Rangers, 9th round 2021, and was a Rule 5 pick from the Tigers a couple of years ago.
I think it's funny, Molly, you mentioned each start will be the one that turns the season. I was having a conversation about this earlier today. Of every game you go into, you believe that you're playing, you can have an impact on that game, and you never know which swing, which at bat, which time you take them out is the one where it clicks back to where you want it to be, and that's the type of mental toughness it takes to be a player in the big leagues. Of every day is a reset and every day is an opportunity.
To the right side, Keyshaw drifting over, can't make the play. Edwards on his way to third base. Wallner fires to the bag, not in time. And the Marlins are threatening right away. Keyshaw likely charged with an error. So Edwards a walk, Hicks reaches, and the Marlins have 2 on, nobody out.
This looked like it was going to be a tough throw to third for Wallner, but he does a really smart thing here. He throws this ball about 3 feet off the ground. So Brooksley, you see him, he's in a position to turn a double play. He anticipates Keyshaw catching this ball. They're thinking turn 2. But when Wallner comes up to throw that ball, there's not really a cutoff man in the middle of the field. So Wallner does the smart thing of making sure he doesn't throw that ball on the fly, even though he's got the best arm on the field. That throws a 1-hopper low, so that stops that runner at first base from continuing on that high throw.
An error charge to Keyshaw, so Hicks is on, Edwards at third, and now Otto Lopez. As I mentioned, leads all of baseball with 55 hits. He's also 3rd in average at 337. He's homered 4 times, and the pitch smacked foul, 1-1.
And not to belabor that play by Keyshaw, but sometimes you get in between as to whether you're going to make that spin throw to second base or just take the out at first. And when you do that, sometimes you pull off the ball just a little bit early, which enabled that grounder to sneak under his glove.
Yeah, just slightly a little indecisive, or you get caught in between.
2-1 count. We saw the note with Lopez, our Jeep hits leaders. And Lopez at the top. The splitter that Sim just threw there that missed beneath the zone. We'll get to that here momentarily. That has been an issue as to why the splitter hasn't been as effective so far this year as it was last year. Good one there, 2-2. Lopez, a waiver claim from the Giants in April 2024. Twins infield playing back at double play depth. Will concede the run for a ground ball out or outs. Check swing, didn't mean to, punches it right side. Clemens will feed Sim to the bag, and runner is safe at first. Everybody is safe, and a run is in. It's 1-0 Miami, and still nobody out.
This is a really difficult play for both the pitcher and the first baseman. We'll see if they decide to take a look at it. They're not going to. Shelty says play on, and this will go down as a base hit. This is something that the Twins have kind of changed between last year and this year of who's going to go after this ball. And first baseman needs to be there, go get it. But Sim, this is a really hard play as his back's to it. He's got to find the base. He was unable to do that. Looked like he tried to throw that tag down.
Yeah, it's just a funny angle to try to receive that flip from the first baseman. And Cody, without a runner on third, probably would have played that ball a little differently. I think in the back of his mind, he thought he originally might have a chance to cut down that runner at home, and he kind of got into that no man's land as far as trying to make that shuffle off to Sim.
So a walk, an error, and an infield. Run scoring hit from Lopez. And now Kyle Stowers, his first home run of the season over the weekend against Washington. And it's a 1-ball, 1-strike count to Stowers. A 25 home run season a year ago for Stowers, and an all-star year. He finished the season hurt. Spent some time with the IL earlier this year with a hamstring injury. Stowers acquired from Baltimore with Connor Norby a couple of years ago on the deal that sent lefty Trevor Rogers back to Baltimore. The 1-1 from Sim, way inside, snagged and saved by Caratini.
It's so funny how when you're struggling and all you want to do is come out of this first inning with a clean inning, and it's easy to look at the Keyshaw play and say, okay, double play, or at least we get an out on that play, but you got to remember he walked the leadoff batter on 4 pitches, so it kind of didn't start the way he wanted it to, in his hands. But it's just funny when you're struggling.
I was thinking right along with you on that. You do kind of make your own luck sometimes. The leadoff walk is never good, especially to start a ball game. And you hope your defense makes all the plays, but that's part of baseball, that sometimes errors are going to happen. And then you get the little check swing, creates an awkward situation trying to record that out at first.
Bailey Ober, in his tremendous start he made last night, only had 2 3-ball counts. This is the second 3-ball count he's had so far in these first 4 batters he's faced.
Let's go back and watch this odd play a moment ago that produced the game's first run.
But I think you're right, Molly. The first thought was crash, get him at home, and once he realized how soft that ball was hit, they tried to recover and make that flip throw. But
Morning, when you do your pitcher's fundamentals in spring training, we do a lot of 3-1 practices where the pitcher covers first base, but you don't do a lot where you are receiving flips from that particular angle. It just makes it really tough.
So this is a play last year, and when Rocco was here as the manager, he wanted that first baseman to stay at the bag, and it was either the second baseman had to crash and get it, or the first baseman took a deeper angle and got that ball. So then you always avoided that throw where that shovel pass, to his back. And they switched that this year in spring training and said, hey, if the first baseman he goes and gets it, the pitcher catches it, he continues on. We get the second baseman there, or kind of how they played it there. So that's something that was changed in spring training this year.
94 on the corner, strike 1 on Minnesota native Connor Norby. And the pitch looked to be off the outside corner. No challenge from Norby. Went 0 for 3 last night. Played here with the Marlins a couple of years ago. Left side, Twins have a chance for 2, second for 1, on to first. There is a double play. As Hicks scores, no RBI for Norby. It's 2-0, but 2 down and 1 pitch.
Tough decision here to not go home, or is this early in the game, get the 2 outs? And
I think the fact that their depth at the start of the play was back in double play position. If he had to charge that ball a little bit more, he maybe come home because you're only going to get 1 out. But try to take the 2 outs and minimize this first inning for the Marlins.
So Lopez to third, and now Jacob Marcy back in center field tonight. Had some good plays defensively in the game last night. Also had a hit, had one of the 2 Miami hits last night. His was a bunt single. Has great speed, as you can see, among the leaders in stolen bases. Two balls and no strikes on Marcy.
I know we've gone over Bailey's start, but last night on the way home I was thinking about the 2 hits they did get. The bunt and that kind of off the end of the bat, Stowers base hit to right. That's no-hitter stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't like there was a bunch of hard contact. Like the Twins early in that game had multiple balls hit over 100 miles an hour. It's not like there was luck involved. That was just pure dominance and just pitching. It was an art. We'll have Bailey on to talk to us in a couple of innings, but it was so fun to watch him pitch last night.
"27 pitches so far for Woods Richardson, 2 in. Lopez at third base, 2 down. Jacob Marcy at the plate. Shows bunt, pulls it back, strike 2, Molly. So showing bunt, 3-1.
Well, I think we're starting to see the implementation of bunting more frequently. You know, when you got room and a guy on third with 2 outs, that's a good play if they're giving it to you.
Yeah, at the start of the at-bat, Gray was right up on the edge of the grass. It's just like there's no difference between a base hit that Otto Lopez had that was 32 miles an hour off the bat or a 100-mile-an-hour bullet to Buxton in center. They all count the same, so it's the same thing on the bunt side of it. It's like,
sure,
if it's available and it's an easier way to get a hit, why wouldn't you take it?
Payoff pitch upcoming to Marcy. And that is low for ball 4. So third walk of the inning. And the Marlins are still batting, and Leo Jimenez, third baseman, is coming up. Let's dive in a bit more about the splitter here for Sim this season and take a look. Morty, break this down. It was such a good pitch last year. That's the option on your left. This year, location where the ball is more often, and I think that screen on the right really tells a good story. It's been down, and a pitch that hitters are not offering at as much.
I think if you're a hitter, first of all, if I'm looking at the pitches, I'm going into through the scouting report. What does he have, and then how often is it in the zone? And I think one of the things you try and do as a hitter a lot of times is eliminate pitches. Okay, does he throw it less than 10% of the time? Do I need to worry about it? Okay, see if you can find a way there. Does he throw it in the zone? Okay, 3 of the 4 pitches he's in the zone a decent amount. I have to respect that. And so once a guy proves that he can show you that he's in the zone, that he can throw you a strike, then you'll get the chase. But if all of the splits you're throwing are in that chase area, the hitters aren't really tempted to go after it. And as we've seen, 4 3-ball counts so far in this first inning, he hasn't really been in control like we saw with Bailey last night, working ahead, and then you feed off the hitter's aggressiveness. And it's just the difference there. He's also thrown it a lot more, so that's also made it stand out even that much more.
Here's Jimenez. Marcy takes off. Caratini throws down to second base, and he's out. So Marcy took off running, and let's see if the Marlins are going to take a look at this play. For now, the crew chief, Ron Kolpa, indicating that Marcy is out, and the caught stealing from Caratini. Timer ticking down, and Clayton McCullough says to play on. So Caratini throws out Marcy, and the inning is over. Good throw from Caratini, and Marcy tagged out, ending the Miami first.
Right near out to
Otto Lopez and the Marlins scored 2 unearned runs on a hit, an error from Keyshaw, 3 walks. And the Twins have work to do here tonight. Derek Shelton and the Twins riding a 3-game winning streak, 19-23 entering play tonight. The Menards Twins batting order: Byron Buxton 0 for 3 last night, despite the walk, stolen base, and a run made things happen. Lee, Martin Bell, Clemens, Keyshaw, Caratini, Matt Wallner, and Tristan Gray is at third base. And Woodbury native, former Golden Gopher Max Meyer is on the mound tonight for Miami, pitching well this season. 8 starts, 2-0 ERA under 3. Byron Buxton wasting little time. Drives it deep down the left field line into the corner, and that is gone. Another leadoff home run. His 3rd leadoff homer this season, now 23 in his career. The Twins answer right back. 2-1 Miami.
A great way to swing the momentum back in your favor after a long inning, high pitch count, a lot of traffic. What does Buck do? What he's done so many times is just go out there, flip the switch, and then get the crowd back on your side. Man, he's been on fire.
Way to look him over, Buck.
What's he got?
Welcome back to the Twin Cities, Max Meyer.
Indeed, and Buxton taking him deep on a pitch that was up. Take a look at this location and this swing, Molly.
Well, he can go up and get that high velocity as good as anybody, especially when he is aggressive early in the count, gets that A swing off. There's not a lot of people that can hit those balls out of the park when they're up above the strike zone over 95 miles an hour.
It's just so fast with his hand from shoulder to contact. Just, it's amazing what he's able to do.
And slider's been an amazing pitch for Meyer this season. 1-2 now on Brooks Lee. 0 for 3 last night with a walk. And there is the Woodbury native Max Meyer.
Yeah, Max making his 9th start. He's had a nice, healthy season to this point, something that he's had trouble with in the past. He leads the Marlins starting rotation with batting average against at 197. Last point I'll say is that sweeper slider combination is producing a very high whiff rate. See how he responds to giving up that bomb to open the game to Buck.
Try to go behind the back on that ground ball off the bat of Lee, but Lopez backing him up made the play.
So right-handed hitters combination 61% of the time. 6 out of 10 they're getting sweeper or slider. So you wonder if the Twins' plan going into this is, let's see if we can take those and jump on the first fastball he throws us, because that almost looked like what that was. Fastball fire, and just try and jump on that fastball, because you know in the past, especially last year, was a pitch that got hit really hard, and part of the reason why he started throwing that sweeper and slider a lot more, kind of changing that mix. But it's going to be a tough day if you're going up there and you're trying to make your money off of hitting those breaking pitches as a right-handed hitter.
Well, some inviting numbers too, Morty, to your point about how hitters have attacked Meyer early in the count when the first pitch has been put in play. Opposing hitters are batting a robust .412. And Buxton adding to those numbers a moment ago. Now 1-2 on Austin Martin. So 23 career leadoff home runs for Byron, now 5 shy of Brian Dozier's team record of 28.
Dozier's driving down the highway. He's checking his rearview mirror, and all of a sudden, about 10 feet behind him, he's just hearing, here comes the Buck truck.
Hook to right field, slicing, and that'll land for a base hit for Austin Martin. 2-strike swing going the other way. And the tying run is on. Some speed on here in the opening inning.
I had a great conversation with Austin Martin before the game about the ABS and whether it's impacted his season. He said, absolutely, it has helped me a ton because I walk up there and I don't have to take 1 or 2 pitches to see what the strike zone is going to be that day. Walk up to the plate, it is the exact same. If it's something I don't agree with, I'm in control of the at-bat, and we've seen the results follow. His strike zone discipline has been tremendous. His walk rate, everything that he's done to start the season, and I think it's, as a player, to have confidence in the strike zone and know that you don't have to cover an inch or 2 off the plate against the best pitchers in the world, that goes a long way when you're standing in that batter's box.
1-0 on Josh Bell. Foul back. You know, getting back to Martin here, Molly, tonight with Austin batting third. This marks the 5th time he has started a game batting third this season. Average, on base percentage, even OPS are promising numbers for Martin, despite the fact he has 1 home run hitting third here a little bit.
The construction of lineups has changed so dramatically over the past 10 years or so as analytics have driven the game and how you shape your lineup on any given day. You know, back in the day, you wouldn't look at Austin Martin as a guy who would want to hit in that third hole. But his ability to keep innings alive, to keep the line moving, to get on base, to start rallies, it's valuable in the top third of the lineup.
Martin stays on the 2-1. Bell with a swing and a miss, 2-2. Let's keep an eye, too, fellas, on Martin in the running game here, Morny, because last night the Twins stole a season-high 4 bases last night, and the Marlins, you had this note last night, they've only thrown out 4 base runners all year.
If you're looking for an opportunity, you're looking to get yourself in scoring position.
Right on cue, he runs, and the throw to second base kicks away from Lopez. And a fortunate bounce to the second baseman Edwards, but Martin swipes second. That's now 6 on the year.
A good throw has him right here. That's, you put the pressure on the defense to make a play, and so far this year they haven't shown that they're going to consistently throw out base runners. Not a great pitch to throw on, but
yeah, Mac did a nice job of picking that ball and all in one motion, unloading that throw. And I think you're right. If it was on target, he would have retired Martin. In addition to only having caught 4 base stealers this year, the Marlins, on the other side, the flip side, have allowed more stolen bases than any other team.
Point. 3-2 to Bell. Line back to Meyer. He catches it, throws back to second base, and that ball goes into center. Martin Takes off at third base. He'll make it. No throw.
That's a younger pitcher making a decision that he probably, if he has another chance with one out, take the out there, right? Looking back, he probably had him if he makes a good throw, but nobody out. Yes, get that guy out of scoring position, get him out of the way. But
you know, I don't mind the aggressiveness of trying to get that runner in scoring position, but the hesitation, I don't think he expected Martin was going to try to beat that throw back to second base and force him to rush it a little bit.
Yeah, almost like the base runner's taught of getting a run down if you get yourself caught and make sure that the batter can get make his way to second.
Yeah, you could see Meyer almost begin to start running at Martin instead of just unloading the baseball to an infielder.
So fielder's choice for Bell. Martin third on the error from Meyer. Here's Clemens batting, and a high pop fly. Shallow center. And Lopez, the shortstop, makes the play. Runners have to hold, so Clemens unable to bring in Martin. 2 down. It's up to Luke Keyshaw. 1 for 3 last night. He stole his 9th base of the season.
Kind of putting together good at-bats, putting together a good run of getting on base. That looks like it's starting to come alive, and just after a slow start, definitely talented enough. Now you just want to see him adjust to what the league is doing to him. Interesting. We saw this last night, first and third, close game. You got Bell on third. You got a fast runner and Martin, or Bell on first, fast runner and Martin on third. Do they leave early, and do they see if they can maybe find their way into another run here if they do throw through to second base?
And it's set up nicely for it. You know, there's a lot of space at second base. Edwards is playing real deep up the middle. And Martin's got a little room to roam there as far as anticipating any throw that goes through.
Bell takes off. Here we go, Morty. And now let's see how Mack will do it. He'll throw to second base, and Bell is safe. So Mack did hesitate. He looked at Martin, then Bell kept on running, and Josh Bell with a stolen base of second.
I love this play. You're just putting so much pressure on the defense to make a play, to make a choice. And they were aware of it because they saw it last night. So he's got to look him back at third, and Bell, with the slowest sprint speed on the team, was able to pick up a stolen base.
That's his 5th career stolen base, his first stolen base since 2018. Now 2-2 on Keyshaw.
But I love it because if they throw through with the speed on third, it's a tie ball game. If not, you have 2 runners in scoring position, and we've seen the Marlins already kind of throw the ball around a little bit. Why not put pressure on them and make a play?
Out of space on the right side here for Keyshaw. Buxton, a leadoff home run. Now Myers, 2-2 upcoming to Keyshaw. Struck him out with a sweeper, and the inning is over. Twins leave 2, but they get 1. Byron Buxton now 14 home runs. His 3rd leadoff shot this season. The Buck truck off and running early here at Target Field.
I'm a
2-1 Miami after 1. Twins scoring a moment ago on a Byron Buxton leadoff home run. Now 14 total this season, and a 2-1 game as Sim is back out for the second. Flipped into shallow right field and sinking and down in front of Matt Wallner. And a leadoff single from Leo Jimenez. He was batting when Jacob Marcy was caught stealing, ending the first. Leadoff man is on for the 2nd straight inning. Well, last night, Twins won the ballgame 3-0, and an enjoyable night, certainly for that man right there. Bailey Ober, kind enough to join us once again from the Twins dugout. Congratulations, your 3rd complete game, but your 1st complete game shutout. How are you feeling tonight?
Yeah, feeling pretty good. It was a pretty special game.
Bullpen before the game, did you sense that was even possible? Did you feel like you had command of all your pitches, even in the bullpen before you got to the game on last night?
You never really take too much for the pregame pen because you could be spraying stuff back down there and then get into the game and then you're locked in, and then vice versa. So I feel like whenever you get through the second time through the order a little bit, then you can kind of tell that this game you might be able to extend it in a few extra innings.
It looked like you had a great feel for your changeup. You were able to throw it for strikes, and then you were able to put a little more depth on it. And I know you said in your previous start you didn't have a great feel for it. Was there an adjustment you made in between starts, or was it just something that as the game was going you felt like it was there?
Yeah, it was just really getting my hand out in front.
High and deep to left center towards the bullpen and gone. Home run from Owen Casey. That's his third this season, and Miami adds 2 more. It's 4-1 Marlins here in the second. Go ahead, Bailey. What you're saying about your changeup last night?
Yeah, just being able to get my hand out in front and really kind of trust it with some good hand speed, kind of match the fastball hand speed with the changeup hand speed, and not get behind the ball. So getting the fingers out in front and kind of reach towards the plate or the catcher's mitt.
Splitter up in the zone, and Casey, former Cub, drafted by San Diego back in 2020, and the Marlins have a 3-run lead early here tonight, and now here's the catcher Joe Mack.
So was that something you actually identified in the last start, or was that just more of a feel thing?
It's more of a feel thing. Like I felt like I was behind it in the previous start, and I was trying to make the adjustment during that outing, and it was just a little bit more difficult for me to do so. So the priority this past week in between starts was just get that pitch, get the feel back for it, and I had a good week of catch play and was able to bring it in yesterday to the game.
You know, Bailey, one thing I noticed about your performance last night, it seemed like the first half of the game you really used that splitter change effectively, and you got a lot of outs on it. But that helped you establish your fastball in the latter innings. You got a lot of fly balls and pop-ups on fastballs the last 3 or 4 innings of the ball game.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of just mix throughout the game, and then read hitters, see if they're going to be sitting soft, and kind of sneak a heater by them. And if they're late, they're either going to be fouling stuff off or popping them up. And we're able to read that adjustment, and I credit that to Jeff.
How busy were you post-game, just answering phone calls and texts from family and friends?
Yeah, my phone was blowing up for a little while after that game, which was pretty cool to see. But yeah, it was just a lot of excitement.
As we take a look back at some of the highlights here from last night, and this Miami team, in your mind, you thinking, hey, we know this team runs up and down this lineup, plenty of team speed. If they're going to find their way on base, I can't walk them. Was that on your mind as you took the ball last night?
Yeah, you kind of see their numbers, and they're a team that there's a few guys on there that walk a lot, and like you said, there's a lot of them that like to run and take bases. So the plan was just kind of go after them, make them swing the bat, hopefully get weak contact, and hopefully they hit it right at someone.
At any point, did you think Derek Shelton was going to take you out of the game, or were you doing everything possible, 7th, 8th inning, to stay away? I don't even want to see you.
Yeah, I was trying to stay away. I was hiding down in the little tunnel down there in between innings, just kind of going over my prep for the next inning, and I was thinking that I was going the whole time.
A little tougher for you to hide than some of the other pitchers, possibly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no doubt.
So are you a guy who, as the game is going on, is paying attention to your strike percentage, or is that just as you go? Because it was over 80% for most of the game. Is that something you're aware of also?
Yeah, we get reports after every inning, so I can kind of see if I'm falling into any trends.
Great play by Tristan Gray, chasing that one down in foul territory. Boy, a full sprint from Gray, same from Lee and Martin, and Gray covered a ton of ground. Hat came off, no problem, caught it for out number 2, and this is already our unreal defensive play of the game, and deservedly so.
Yeah, it was a great play.
It was way up on the grass, too,
yeah.
and bunt defense depth, and that was impressive. You always appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, that was a phenomenal play. Big time out. But yeah, I kind of noticed I noticed that, I mean, you could tell, like, when you're just pounding the zone, that your strike percentage is going to be pretty high, and you're not having any free passes. So I'm not taking too much notice into it. I'm not trying to increase it or decrease it at any point during the outing, just kind of going out there and attacking.
A rumor has it you got a special present today in the clubhouse. Is that true? Can you elaborate?
Yeah, I showed up to the field today, and I got a nice bottle of bourbon from Shelton, so it's greatly appreciated. It's pretty cool to see that when I walked in.
I taught him well.
Yeah.
0-2 the count on Liam Hicks. Chatting with our buddy Bailey Ober. The bearded nightmare. Complete game shutout last night. 89 pitches. Sim, a strikeout here in the second so far. The 0-2 to Hicks. And here's a guy that is tough to induce swing and misses against, the third lowest whiff rate of any batter in the game. In the air to right center and playable as Wallner makes the catch, and the inning is over. Bailey, thanks again for the time and tremendous job last night.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
We appreciate Bailey Ober. 6'9" and all, but he still got the Gatorade bat late last night here at Target Field.
Nothing.
Two-run homer, Owen Casey, a guy that thrived in the WBC for Team Canada because he had the best hitting coach in the WBC in Mr. Morneau. And the Twins are down 3 as they bat bottom 2. Victor Caratini, another first pitch swing. Shallow left, and Stowers makes the play for the first out. Now let's take a look at tonight's Liberty Mutual Insurance field coverage. And speaking of Bailey Ober and Molly, we talked about this too late last night. The last 5 occurrences of a Greg Maddux, and we saw Bailey hit that mark last night. Complete game shutout, under 100 pitches.
Yeah, I almost asked him about that, but I'm not sure how many in today's game starting pitchers are familiar with that term. But it's just all about command, pitch count, throwing first pitch strikes, as Justin alluded to. They don't come around very often in today's game.
All right, now we got Woodbury against Forest Lake. And Wallner, who faced Meyer once, Matt said, in high school. And Matt said that they played at the University of Northwestern St. Paul. One time they met in high school. Now, Max is very close with the Wallner family, specifically Matt's younger brother Luke, who's a Navy SEAL. And Max grew up playing with Luke and still very close with the Wallner family. And Max, he makes his home in Wyoming, Minnesota in the offseason.
Yeah, for him to downplay this start, we all know what it means. It's something special to be able to come back, especially for the first time. I think for me, there was a couple of those places because I was a Blue Jays fan growing up, but also went down to Seattle. As Wallner's taking a walk around, he hit that ball hard off his foot. But for the first time going to Seattle and the first time playing in front of many friends and family growing up with, like, there is another layer there. There's another level of excitement, and you try not to let it play into your thought process, but you're aware of it.
Yeah, absolutely. That first time back, playing in the area that you grew up is special. I remember my first game back at the old Met Stadium was on the 4th of July. And you guys remember Captain Dynamite?
I don't.
He was a post-game show in a lot of stadiums. He'd put himself in a box and blow himself up. That's what I remember.
That back.
That's what I remember about my first game back in the Twin Cities.
I wonder if he would open for Ludacris.
Well, there's an idea.
You could
Sure, if
probably
we need a seance, though, to make that happen. Perhaps we do, but still.
probably convince one of my kids to do it.
2-2 on Wallner. And Meyer struck him out with a slider. Second strikeout for Meyer, and there are 2 down. Here in the second, Tristan Gray coming up. Mentioned Max Meyer, proud University of Minnesota Golden Gopher alum. 3rd overall pick, tied with Paul Molitor for the highest pick in school history.
How about that?
Meyer 2020,
Gold
Molitor
unis.
77. Look at that jersey.
We got a lot of the Gophers team here tonight.
And what was your line with Timmy and Marty during Twins pregame about the difference between you and
Signing
Max?
bonuses from 1977 to 2020. I think it's fair to say they grew exponentially. Different scale.
I told you I was a 3rd pick too, just in a different round. There they are.
That's great. 1-1 on Gray, and a fantastic defensive play last inning. Playing 3rd base tonight, he'll take a timeout here. Change up low and a 2-ball, 2-strike count. Now for Meyer, during his time in Dickeytown. He made 3 appearances here at Target Field. 8 innings thrown, 0-1, a couple of saves. And gets the call there on a slider. So 1-2-3 second for Meyer, striking out 2. And we are through 2 here at Target Field. Miami batting in the 3rd, leading 4-1.
Every Sunday is
Lengthy homestand continues here this weekend as the Milwaukee Brewers make their annual trip to downtown Minneapolis. Friday, the first pitch has been moved up to $6.10, and tickets begin at just $10. Plus Friday's feature, happy hour with $2 beer, hot dogs, and snacks. Get your tickets now at twins.com/tickets. Marlins by 3 in the 3rd. Lopez, Stowers, and Norby. Lopez, an infield run-scoring single back in the first inning. Both runs unearned against Woods Richardson early on tonight. Slider there, 1-2.
So maybe he was hunting something to drive on the pull side, see if he makes an adjustment with 2 strikes here, if he goes back more towards the middle of the field.
To Scheller, right center. And Buxton squeezes it. And 1 away, and Stowers will bat.
From Twins territory to the world, Delta, official airline of the Minnesota Twins.
Alongside Justin Morneau, Paul Molitor, Audrey Martin, Corey Provis tonight from the Dick Bramer TV booth here at beautiful Target Field. Thank you for joining us here at Twins TV. Game 2 of the series. Twins winning last night 3-0. Have won 3 straight. All the no strikes on Stowers. He walked in the first. Big cut. A fastball at 93.
So, Ollie, how tough is the decision as a manager if you see your guy struggling, when to go get him, how close is the game, how much do we burn through the bullpen, all of those things?
All those components are in the mix. I mean, obviously, even with the off day on Monday and last night's complete game, you really don't want to have to burn through a lot of guys for 5-6 innings of this game. So hopefully Sim can hold down the fort, but you do have to balance that out as far as, I might have to let him go a little longer than maybe his stuff is showing me I need to let him go.
Yeah, a complete game, bullpen's in good shape, and it can go just like that.
It doesn't take long for that bullpen to become quickly depleted.
And starter not announced for tomorrow either yet, so.
And Connor Prelup lined up to go tomorrow, but that will not happen. Twins are pushing Prelup back.
Yeah, so whether it's a starter or it's a bullpen day, if you have in mind that it's going to be a bullpen day tomorrow, maybe that's also impacts your decision tonight with Sim as well.
Sharply right-sided Keyshaw. Gobbles it up and throws out Stowers. Ground ball rate is up this season for Stowers. And it's 2 there and 2 down here in the Miami 3rd for Connor Norby.
Yeah, and I would imagine that they probably have a pretty good idea about tomorrow, but obviously they're going to keep that close to the vest until see what happens in this game and how it transpires. But yes, if you're forced to use a lot of guys, that might eliminate any possibility that they were thinking about a bullpen game tomorrow.
And then, of course, Sim could settle in, find the zone, work ahead, and pitches into the 6th of this game with where the pitch count is at, I think would be positive.
1 ball, 1 strike on Connor Norby. Guy has played plenty of 3rd in the past, but in spring training was told to be ready to play some 1st and some corner outfield. Liam Hicks was at 1st last night, DHing tonight. And Norby is at 1st after playing 3rd in game 1. Behind 2-1. And a line drive base hit into left. In between Lee and Gray, and a 2-out single from Norby. And the inning continues now for Jacob Marcy. Asking those, the Marlins and folks that see Miami more often than we do about the style of play. And Molly, what we heard is that adopting kind of a Milwaukee, even a Tampa Bay example about the style of baseball they want to employ.
And it's just kind of the makeup of your team, the athletes that you have. You're a little short on the power side, so you're looking for guys that can generate offense by running the bases properly and aggressively.
Miami entering the series in the upper half in run scoring per game, 4.3 runs per game. And near the bottom in home runs, 33 so far for Miami this season, including Owen Casey's latest. But number 1 in stolen bases, 9th in on base percentage. 0-2 on Marcy. Walked his first time. And a check swing, no swings. Scott Berry at third.
What do you got on that base running stance at first base there, Molly?
It looks like he's trying to, use that momentum lead situation where you don't take your maximum lead right out of the get-go. You try to time it and get that little extra shuffle and momentum towards second base.
Shuffle from Norby stays, and a foul ball.
Yeah, almost like getting a running lead. You get that momentum on your side.
And that really wasn't a big part of the game until they came up with the limited throw overs to first, and guys trying to capitalize that and find ways to use that to their advantage.
I think a pitch clock playing into it as well.
Sure.
Of okay, if I can get some momentum, we're winding down to 3-2, and I just take off, and it's like get a running lead on it. Twins trying to counter that. That was a good long hold from Sim there, not letting him walk.
It was a good long hold. It was almost like they knew they were coming over, though. He never tried to really increase after that small initial lead.
Stays, and the 1-2 is down low. Splitter. Jacob Marcy at the plate. Acquired by Miami from San Diego in the trade that sent Luis Arraez back to Southern California in early May of 2023. Swinging a high fly ball to right center. Wallner buxed in. It'll be Byron calling off Wallner for out number 3. Twins coming up in the home third, trailing by 3. Wednesday night at home means we go back to the bullpen. Hawk Talk when we come back on Twins TV.
It is Wednesday night at Target Field, and that means it's time for another edition of Hawk Talk out here in the bullpen with our buddy LaTroy Hawkins. LaTroy, I got to ask you about last night. Bailey Ober was on fire, so efficient, so fun to watch. What was it like for your group watching it unfold?
Well, we were saying he's the best option right now, so let's keep him running him out there. But it was good to see him go out there and continue to change speeds and get those really quick outs. And back-to-back off nights, one unscheduled for the bullpen is always deserving.
Let's go back to Cleveland, because that series win doesn't happen without a couple really gutsy performances from a handful of your guys. What do you...
Audra calling.
Hold
We've got
on.
another home run.
Buck Daddy just went to the house again for number 2.
Hawk Talk.
Nice.
And the bullpen is buck trucking. 4-2 Miami.
Heating up. All right. I forgot the question.
I mean, hey, just go back to your old job. Take us through a home run. You didn't see it, but, you know.
So when they hit it, they got one job when they hit it, is to show the bullpen some love. I didn't know it was a real thing until I got down here. And if you don't show the bullpen some love, you're going to hear from a couple of those guys when they get in the clubhouse.
Oh, Buxton's showing you guys a lot of love.
Always. He always show love.
Well, okay, let's go back to Cleveland. What do you want your group to take away from that series and that effort?
Well, it was a really tough series because we just don't have a really good track record playing those guys in their home ballpark. But I think some of the guys in the bullpen, they took the Bulls by the horn. When their number was called, they went out there and did a really good job. And hopefully we can that could be a carryover to this series and get us going in the right direction.
You mentioned the day off on Monday. Yesterday, for all intents and purposes, was a day off as well. How valuable is that break, that reset for this group that has been relied upon pretty heavily so far?
Well, it was perfect, but I think the 2 days was going to hopefully really get us over the hump, and just being able to go out there and watch Ober just throw 9 innings and the bullpen doesn't have to pretty much do anything. I think Rogers and Morris got up yesterday just as some backup. He didn't need it, but just a whole complete 2 days of reset, I think it's going to be good for the guys.
Well, we appreciate it. We may have to do this a lot more often if more home runs come flying out to the bullpen. What do you think?
I'm all for that. Buck Daddy, let's go, Buck Daddy.
Bring it on, Byron Buxton. All right, guys, back to you.
Roger, thanks, and always great to hear from our buddy LaTroy Hawkins. 19th career multi-homer game, second this season. Byron also a 2-homer game here against the Red Sox last month. Chopper weekly right side off the bag. Norby feeds Meyer, and a catch and a step on the bag for out number 1. So Byron 2 for 2, and Molly 2 swings and 2 home runs.
Well, the first at bat, he tried the 4-seam up above the zone. Buck was all over that. So, hey, let's try a sinker down in the zone. Same result. 2 pitches, 2 homers. Oh, yeah, that's the new tradition of the game. You got to acknowledge your pen. I'm not sure what the consequence other than what Hawk shared with us, but
We don't need to know everything, right? But, I mean, just think of the start he got off to and to where he's at now amongst the league leaders in home runs. He's been on fire, doing everything. We saw him last night steal home. I mean, how often do you have a guy in a series lead off a game with a homer, steal home plate, couple of 2 home run game, just everything that he's able to do.
Look at that. In the bullpen. Number 25. Yeah, he pulled that ball. Sure did. Twice. And strike 3 on Martin, and Austin will challenge. 96 called strike 3, and looked to be in the zone. Manny Gonzalez behind the plate. ABS challenges are powered by T-Mobile, and it was a strike.
The call is confirmed. The batter is out. Minnesota got 1 challenge to remain.
So 4 strikeouts now for Meyer and 2 down. So Byron now up to 15 home runs, and that currently ties him for 3rd most in baseball. Schwarber 17, Judge 16, and Murakami with 15. Byron right there with the rookie from Japan with the White Sox. And Brooks is like, hey, help.
are you for real?
It's like, how do you do it?
Was the strike call made by Gonzalez behind the plate. 0-2 on Bell, who reached on a fielder's choice and stole his 5th base of his career, and his first since 2018 back in the 1st inning.
We're all tied up.
You and Josh?
Yep. That's how you get 33 speed in the show, and Marty won't play with you.
Yeah. But it was red light morning. It was just red light too often for you.
Dad, you're too slow. I'm not playing with you on my team.
Look at that note. 978 games between stolen bases. 4th longest streak since 1901. It was Jack Morris's rookie year.
Uh-oh.
Did I get that wrong?
Jack, I had nothing to do with that.
The 1-2 to Bell. Good old Jack.
That would mean that I had already been in the show for 2 years. So I remember when Prince Fielder stole a base at the Metrodome. I think it might have been his first career stolen base. That was a moment.
I'm sure it was. Great big hitter he was as Bell strikes out on a sweeper. 5 strikeouts for Meyer, but he's given up 2 runs on 2 home runs, and Buxton got him again in the 1st and now in the 3rd. He has seen 2 pitches, 2 swings, and look at Hawk in the pen. Buck truck it. 2-run game after 3. Fourth inning underway. Strike called on Leo Jimenez. Singleton scored on Owen Casey's home run in the 2nd. First appearance for Jimenez in the series with Toronto the last couple of years. This will be the 70th pitch upcoming for Woods Richardson. 2-1. Ooh, and Sim brought his hand up to his hat. I have yet to see a pitcher challenge. And that perhaps would have clipped the outside corner close. Only one challenge left.
Yeah, one challenge left. Probably played into it.
And that's, Molly, what Morney and I and Perk and others, we were wondering about. We know that pitchers are emotional. That even though Derek Shelton has told him, do not challenge, if emotions at some point might take over, to challenge. And we haven't seen one yet.
No, well, it's, the emotional component is key to so many parts of your game. Being able to maintain even whatever the atmosphere might be around a given play as a base runner. Certainly with the ABS now, realizing that you've already lost one. Can't let the emotion of that borderline pitch, when you've been having a tough time out there getting strikes, getting outs, but you got to hang on to that composure so you do the right thing for your team.
It's hard to remember that in the moment, too.
It is.
Oh, we only have one left. You wonder if, while he was raising his hand, if there was a thought there of, oh, I can't. It was kind of like when the check came and Cuddy was reaching for his wallet. It was kind of about the same thing. I'm just going to put my hand back in my pocket.
Second thought.
You're dogging me for Jack. Hey, Cuddy, that was Morneau. That was Morneau. This is Jimenez banging one to left center field, hit well, sending Buxton to the wall, looks up, and that's off the padding. And Jimenez will stop at second base, leadoff double. And for the third time in 4 innings, the Marlins have the leadoff man on.
Well, he got into his 5th 3-ball count so far of this game, and that was above the zone. Pitch said it was 88, but that looked like it had more split spin than anything else, maybe.
Well, Jimenez now 2 for 2, and here is Casey. First double this season for Jimenez. Casey struggling lately. Entering play tonight was 3 for his last 27.
He got off to an incredible start, too.
No kidding. Let's take a look at our Postman Law injury update, and it is on Casey. Back in the lineup for the first time since May 9th. Left triceps soreness kept him out. Our second-round pick in 2020 by San Diego. And he was traded to the Cubs that same year in the deal that brought Yu Darvish and current Twins catcher Victor Caratini from Chicago to San Diego. And Casey found his way to Miami in exchange for Edward Cabrera, starting pitcher. Throws well, throws hard, now with the Cubs.
He was the highest Cubs position player prospect. It was hard to find a path to playing time. Miami here got off to a great start, but swing and miss has been a struggle for him.
Jimenez at second base, nobody out. 3 balls and a strike on Casey. Let's go back to his home run here, Morney. Went the other way back in the second.
Yeah, he got a split. It kind of stayed up in the zone, had a little fade to it, but does a nice job of going with the pitch. And after a couple of days off, dealing with a injury isn't the right word, soreness, but
fresh hands.
Yep. Fresh mind too, probably.
And time. We could hear Casey ask for time as Sim was just beginning his motion, granted by Manny Gonzalez behind the plate. 3-2 from Woods Richardson. And that's ball 4. And the 4th walk for Woods Richardson tonight. And the Marlins have 2 on, nobody out for the rookie catcher Joe Mack. We'll never miss a moment of Twins baseball right here with Twins TV. Stream all games throughout Twins territory and watch your favorite players live or on demand for the entire 2026 regular season. Sign up right now at twins.tv. I'll visit here from Pete Mackey. We'll see how the Marlins will play it. Joe Mack 0 for 3 last night, struck out in the 2nd.
So, Molly, would you say it's kind of one of the harder things you have to do as a manager is kind of watching what Sim's going through? Are you, as a manager, living and dying with every pitch, and you're kind of feeling for the guy, especially when you see how hard the guys work behind the scenes?
Well, you're aware of that, but you try to separate that for the best decision for your team at any given moment. You know, I think overall, Sim, the last few years, he's shown pretty good composure most times, but you're seeing the frustration out there tonight. You know, whether that's a late timeout by a batter in the zone or after that double off the center field wall, kind of threw his hands up a little bit.
We're thinking about challenging a pitch and a little frustration on that. Yeah.
But you feel for the guy, but you know, you're still got to make the best decision for everyone else involved.
Travis Adams warming up with the bullpen. Mack did not show bunt. Splitter misses low, ball 1. This is Mack's 9th big league game in AAA this season. Hit .244 with 3 home runs. Lines a base hit to right center. Jimenez around third, heading home, and the throw comes into short, cut off by Lee as a run scores. Mack with his 2nd major league RBI. And it's 5-2 Miami. Still 2 on, nobody out.
Some hard contact here. This ball a little over 100 miles an hour. It's the location. A lot of these balls have been in the middle part of the plate, and it seems like when you're struggling, you miss in the middle. Hitters are jumping on it, and kind of seen that so far in this game.
As the lineup turns over, and now Xavier Edwards, his 3rd plate appearance. Already tonight, a walk, run, and a pop out. Infield about halfway. Beautiful night here in downtown Minneapolis. The Twins are down 3, and the Marlins already 1 and 2 on. Have a chance to build on this lead. And a challenge here from Caratini. Caratini has been very good, challenging balls and strikes behind the plate. And he was right, just clipping.
Ball is overturned, it's a strike.
That's a big call. So instead of 3-1, it's now 2-2, and look at that, just clipping the corner.
And instead of being out of challenges, they still have 1 left, which would obviously critical part of the game. Any more runs here, it's going to make it difficult to come back. So yes, go ahead and take your shot there.
Line to left field, trouble down the line. That's a fair ball. That's going to scoop by Martin and find the wall. 1 run is in. Here comes Mack. He'll stop at third base. It's an RBI double from Edwards. And now the Marlins score again and lead 6-2. An issue for Sim really all season long, fellas. 2 strikes, but just unable to put hitters away. Swing and miss rate down considerably. Strikeout rate down. as Edwards adds to that frustration and a pitching change, his forthcoming here at Target Field. So Woods Richardson departs here in the fourth. Still nobody out. 2 in, 2 on. Twins are down 4. Travis Adams on the mound when we come back.
I love making.
Minnesota Twins baseball is presented by your local Toyota dealers and by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. Now the Marlins knock out the Twins starter, Simeon Woods Richardson, early tonight. 3+ innings, and Travis Adams is on for the second time this season. Made his 2026 debut in Cleveland back on May 10th. Infield and Liam Hicks chops it fouled on the first base side. 0-1 on Hicks as we take a closer look at Adams.
And a 5-pitch mix, 3 different fastballs, 4-seam cutter, sinker, also slider, changeup. Fastball should sit right around 94 miles an hour. We'll see. Threw the changeup more than anything in that outing on Sunday.
Former starter, now a full-time bullpen option, and with the infield in, Hicks hits it right into right center field, and that will score 2 more runs. So Mack and Edwards both score. Hicks RBIs 36 and 37. It is 8-2 Miami. Still batting here in the fourth, and still nobody out.
And unfortunately for Sim, both those runs will go on his line. That'll close the book on his night.
8 runs, 6 earned.
So Molly, this is something I noticed on the last homestand. When they're playing the infield in, they're all the way up on the grass and costing themselves range. Is that? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, there's 2 different thoughts on that. One is that if you're deeper, you're going to have maybe a little better angle on some of those balls. But it's also like a goalie who comes out and tries to cut down the angle a little bit too, right? They do that when they get breakaways or certain situations.
As Lopez flies out to center, and there is the first out here in the fourth. Let's go back to the swing you're talking about here, Morning.
Yeah, and you just see where up on the grass, so it's probably a foot in front of the baseline. By the time he does his prep step, he's all the way in. So I see what you're saying. If you're able to cut that angle, if you're able to go straight across, you can get to that ball.
Yeah, there's almost a more narrowness to it when you're in closer. But obviously on slow hit balls that you need to go laterally on, you're probably going to miss out on a couple of those types, as we just saw there on Hicks's base hit up the middle.
And I guess your goal is to throw him out at home. If you were looking to get it out at first, you would probably play a couple of steps deeper and kind of give yourself a little more range there. But you're right, the best chance of coming up, of cutting that ball off and making that shorter throw. It's everything in the game that's done today is done with thought and with research behind it. So it's not like all of a sudden guys just started moving in. There's a reason that they're playing there.
And with Keyshaw, arm strength's one of those issues too, where he's improved a lot since last year, but still making that good, hard, firm, accurate throw. Cut down a little distance probably increases his chances of being successful at that.
As Stowers drills it high and deep to center. Buxton drifting with room. Onto the warning track for out number 2. So Stowers, a deep fly out to center. 2 down. Norby coming up.
When Jess uses Bank Smartly checking and savings, we help her money work harder.
Molly, getting back to your point about the infield in 4-run game. What's the line of demarcation there, if you will? 4-run game, 5-run game, considering the outs, when you say, okay, let's concede here and just try and stop the bleeding and get an out here?
I think at this point in the game, you're still hoping you can come back and win the game to cut down that run. You start getting in the 6th, 7th, and you're facing a 6-7 run deficit. It might change your philosophy a little bit. But I think that's exactly the right thing to do at this stage of the game, to try to cut down that run.
0-1 to Norby. For 2 tonight. And during the pitching change, they showed the Wild score, and great news out of Denver that the Wild have a 3-0 lead. And Norby, big Wild fan. He was at the game on Monday night. A rough go for Sim. And a struggle from the start here this season. The 0-2 from Adams to Norby. And he struck him out with a slider. But the Marlins add 4 more runs. Twins coming up bottom 4, now down 6.
The lineup at
Joe Mack, Xavier Edwards, and Liam Hicks, 3 straight run-producing hits for the Marlins. Part of a 4-run 4th inning. And the Twins now bat down 6. Clemens, Keyshaw, Caratini against Max Meyer.
The Twins have done a good job when they've been in games like this of fighting, clawing their way back, not giving up. Competitive at-bats, we've seen it already a couple of times this year. Come back or try to come back from large deficits. And I think when you're in the dugout, you're telling yourself, hey, let's score the next run. Let's get guys on base. Let's just do it one batter at a time. Let's see what we can put together. Let's get it to 8-3. Let's get it to 8-4. And all of a sudden you're within one swing of being able to tie it with a grand slam. And that's kind of the mentality you have in that dugout.
As Clemens laces one to the gap in left center field, here's a good start. Cody on his way to second base and a leadoff double to start the 4th inning.
Great swing. Gets himself a slider. Hits it hard in that gap. That's kind of what you're hoping for. Get the leadoff batter on. Get him out of the stretch. Both the runs he's given up have been on solo home runs to Buxton, so it's not like he's had to deal with a ton of traffic over there. So now you kind of change it up. Maybe you.
Yeah, you're looking for that little spark to try to get something going, as you talked about, to cut into that lead. Clemens swinging the bat a little bit better, I feel, watching that road trip, using left field a little bit more.
Cody had a great game on Sunday in Cleveland, a big part in that 1-run victory. Now 7 doubles for Clemens. Keyshaw struck out in the first swinging. Now something else the Twins can lean on here trying to get back into this game. Also some patience here. The walk rate, the Twins last night drew, 6 walks. And the walk rate at just over 10% is the 4th highest in the American League. We talked about this morning in your conversation with hitting coach Keith Beauregard on the last homestand, how good the walk rate has been, and something that you and Keith believe should sustain throughout the year.
I think it takes an incredible amount of focus to stay in the strike zone for an entire season, but when it's something you're emphasizing as a staff and as hitters and as a lineup as a whole, and you understand what it leads to a lot of at-bats with runners in score position, puts pressure on the other team's pitcher, and I think the trust of the strike zone, the knowledge of the strike zone, and the ABS and everything else that's played into it.
And Keyshaw, passionate. Pops it up to short, and play is made by Lopez for out number 1. And some frustration there from Keyshaw, no doubt. A 3-1 pitch.
Yeah. Justin, I think that, it ties into the conversation you had with Austin Martin. As these hitters become more comfortable with that ABS, that strike zone, it is what it's going to be every single day. I think around the game we're seeing the walk percentage grow, and I think it'll continue throughout the season.
Derek Shelton talked about that quite a bit in his office before the game, and the walk rate across the league is over 9%, closer to 10% right now, in fact, and that's higher than it's been in over 20 years. And do those numbers surprise you guys at all, or ABS is playing a part in that, maybe a big part of that?
They make me happy. Anything that's good for the hitters is everything that's happened with the pitch design and how hard these guys are throwing, the way they're deploying bullpens. The outfielders are all playing deeper. Extra base hits are harder to get. So if we can do something that gives the hitters a little bump, then sounds good to me. But yeah, I like it. I like what it's turned the game into. Do we need to go full ABS? I'm good with where we're at. Let's see this for a season or two.
See how it plays out. I think MLB has been trying to find ways to increase action in its games. It started with some of the things they implemented about the throwover rules and eliminating the shifts. Maybe they should lower the mound a little bit more.
That is a conversation I've had with Glenn Perkins many times. And
yeah.
Changing the depth on the breaking balls and everything else would. There was an article I read today actually about that I don't hate that idea either, but I'm not a pitcher, so I don't know. Your thoughts on moving it back a foot or 6 inches or whatever to counter that velocity that everybody's got now? I don't know if we need to go that far, but lowering the mound. There was also a thought that maybe it's potentially can reduce some of the injury, but
on the pitchers, sure.
Yeah.
0-1 to Wallner, and now 0-2 as he got in the way there of Mack.
I don't know if he got his finger as he was reaching for that ball. Wally apologizing.
Oh yeah, Wallner's bat came up after the swing, and Mack was pouncing on the ball, and then contact almost the chin, the neck area of Mack.
A little respect between opponents there. Not sure that's getting an apology in the Wild Avalanche game.
0-2 on Wallner. Now Matt 0 for his last 12. Struck out swinging in the second. A rare night off for now for Trevor Larnach. Austin Martin in left, Wallner in right. Kicks away from Mack, and the runners advance. So now just a base hit here. Make this a 4-run game. Second and third, one out.
I think Wallner's looking for a positive anywhere he can find them, and a ball being put in play, moving forward, getting at least one of those runs home. I mean, not exactly what he's looking for, but something positive out of this at bat. This will go down as a wild pitch.
Yeah, you're just looking for little baby steps, little increments that show that you're getting back into a better offensive place in the batter's box. Infield's back, anything on the ground produces a run, obviously a fly ball. Love to see a hit here, even a 3-run homer, but 2 strikes, you got to put the ball in play.
Meyer asking for a new ball, and now granted. Tristan Gray on deck. (8-2) Miami. Twins batting bottom 4. Clemens at third, Caratini at second. Two down.
So one of the adjustments Max Meyer made from last year to this year, he's raised his arm slot a little bit, and it's kind of changed the shape of some of his breaking pitches. Also throwing his fastball less, but he's more over the top. I think that's allowed him to have a little more depth on that slider, a little more depth on that sweeper. That was a slider there that we saw to Wallner. So pretty simple, just 5 degrees higher, but it does make a difference in how that ball's coming out of his hand and the way those pitches are moving. I think they also did a good job of identifying what he does well and trying to do that a little more often. One thing kind of plays into the other.
Yeah, we saw it on a couple of the strikeouts, one on Keyshaw earlier in the game. You know, really all the movement being horizontal as opposed to vertical.
Molly, we asked Max at his locker yesterday, the question was, what pitch got you to the big leagues? He said slider. But the sweeper has become a go-to weapon. And we're seeing so firsthand.
Well, I think collegiately that fastball that he possessed and slider, that's really all he needed as a closer. If you're going to sustain your career as a starter at this level, those 2 pitches probably aren't going to get it done. So found that sweeper. Changeups even become more of a mix, mostly to the lefties, an occasional right on right.
Accounting for a large chunk of his strikeouts.
Yeah, batting average against, that's elite.
A very high swing and miss rate. And adds to it. Slider in the dirt, picked up by Mack. He'll complete the play, and the Twins leave 2 in scoring position. Max Meyer, 7 strikeouts through 4. It is all Miami, 8-2 out of the 5th here at Target Field. Oh, Byron Buxton already. A great night, 19th career multi-homer game. His home runs swing and swings. Powered by Treasure Island Resort and Casino. For every Twins homer hit to the Treasure Island home run deck, Treasure Island donates $2,500 to the Twins Community Fund in support of the Junior Twins Equipment Kit program. 8-2 Miami as we start the 5th inning. Let's go back to Byron Buxton and multi-homer games. Now 19-2 this year, and Justin Morneau's lead is down to 1.
Yeah, that was funny when I was making fun of Dozier and how he was catching up to
It comes
Dozier.
back, doesn't it? Doesn't take long, like 2 innings later.
Little baseball players. Those who have been humbled, those are about to be humbled.
I mean, Dozier 28 leadoff home runs. Byron now 23, so 5 shy of that. And now 1 shy of Morneau for the second most multi-homer games in Twins history.
A little ways to go to catch Harmon.
You know, I really appreciate talent evaluators. When I saw Buxton in the minor leagues, and I had the privilege of working with him on his base running in particular, I envisioned him as being like a 50 stolen base, maybe 10 to 15 homer guy, play elite defense in center field. And the whole power aspect of his game was just something that I didn't see coming. That's why
another one
wasn't in that business.
Another good play from Tristan Gray.
It's funny that you say that, Molly, because I asked we had Gardy up in the booth, and I said, do you remember when he came to take BP? I remember after we signed him, he came and took BP at Target Field, and I did not see that development of power that he's really tapped into. It was become one of the premier power hitters in all the game of baseball. I saw the speed like you. It's hard it was hard to envision as an 18-year-old kid that it was going to turn into this guy that was a power threat on the pull side every time he walks up to the plate. But just like you, thankfully, I'm not the one making those decisions. Right. And I think we all have ideas of what we think each player is going to be, and where does this guy fit, and who does he remind us of. I think sometimes we do that to a detriment of players.
We've seen enough 17, 18-year-old prospects that we know that physically they're going to mature, and they're, you know, a guy like Max Kepler coming in at 16 years old. I mean, 145 pounds, and then he turned into this man body, and he became a player.
But it was hard with Buck because he's so wiry and so fast, and just
always quick twitch with the bat, in the field, on the bases.
And Molly, too, I would imagine that among the more challenging, difficult conversations you had during your managerial career involved sending him down. He's had to do that a few times, right?
Yeah, that's always challenging. You know, you're trying to do what's best for the player in his career, and certainly you have your team in mind as well. And as Justin knows, I mean, Michael Kadire, his name has been brought up tonight. He was a guy he had to go down, I don't know, 3 or 4 different times along the way before he finally started to figure it out up here. Torrey Hunter was another one. Sometimes it's just part of the maturation process.
I went up and down a couple of times. I think each time Cuddy went down, he learned a new position.
To left field, and Martin across the foul line, and Travis Adams with a 1-2-3 5th inning. Well, Byron Buxton, he'll lead off. When we come back, so far the man has seen 2 pitches. He's hit 2 home runs. The Buck Truck live here on Twins TV when we come back here in a moment. Third at bat for Byron Buxton. 1 pitch in the first, homered. 1 pitch in the third, homered. And Meyer runs it inside.
If I was a bet man on first pitches, which I'm not, but I was going to be betting on something spinning right there, whether it was that sweeper or slider.
1 career 3-homer game in 2017 in Toronto. Last time the Twins had a 3-homer game not too long ago, late last year, Cody Clemens here against Arizona. Righty changeup.
Well, guy's got 2 homers. You're going to give him that 4th or 5th most used pitch. Try and get him off of whatever you think he's seeing well out of your hand.
And strikes out Buxton with a slider. That's 3 consecutive strikeouts, now 8 tonight. More to hear from Myers.
Buck's got something a little different in his swing that we see from most hitters. His is abbreviated finish, but he's as fast as anybody in baseball. If you look at where he starts with his hands and where he gets to, there is very little wasted movement as he gets here, and then he is through the ball and he accelerates. And that shortened finish doesn't happen until after the ball leaves his bat. So I think it looks to a lot of people, as you see it live or you see it in full speed on TV, it looks like he's cutting off his swing or he's not finishing his swing, but he is just so efficient in his movements from where his hands go from his shoulder directly to that baseball. He's as quick as anybody in baseball, and that's why he's able to generate so much power, even though it doesn't look like it's a full swing. It's full impact.
Yeah, the hands are incredible. I also noticed just his ability to keep his head behind the ball there, and also his contact point. He can take that high velocity fastball, and if you're going to pull the ball with authority and power, it's going to be out in front of the plate, and we saw that on those couple of swings.
It's funny because you look at his swing and you assume it's one of the shortest in baseball, but it actually is, I believe, the longest on the Twins. So they have now ways of tracking the bat and the bat path and the swing angle and everything else, how your bat comes through the zone. And you see that and you see the finish and you think, okay, this guy's got a really short swing. And in reality, actually, there is length to it, I think partially because of how tall he is.
As Lee draws a 1-out walk.
And I'll do some more drawing on the screen, but take a look at where he goes from right there. And it's just, you just follow it and directly, and like you mentioned, Molly, out front of his front foot, he's able to get that extension, but he keeps everything so tight to his body. His hands are so close, and he rotates so fast with his torso, with his core, and then he just unleashes that power and just hits tape measure home runs. And I think so often kids who are chasing power, younger hitters who are chasing power, they create length on the back of their swing, and they think the power comes from pulling that power from all the way back, and in reality the power happens out front. It's how quick can you get to that spot, and Buck's elite at it.
I remember having a conversation, it was the Bulma squad year 2019 with Mitch Garver, and hearing A swing, B swing when you're 2 strikes, and Garver was telling me no, it is A swing, get that barrel out in front, trying to pull the ball with power, elevate it out to left field. That's pulled off the glove of Jimenez, and that'll find the grass in left field. As Lee will make third, Martin digs in for second base, and the Twins have 2 on once again here in the 5th inning.
No surprise, Austin Martin in the middle of it again. He got himself a slider that, one of the ones that didn't end up below the zone or didn't have as much depth as the other ones we've seen. And in a year like Austin Martin's having, that ball hits off the edge of the fielder's glove and doesn't end up in his glove, doesn't make a highlight reel play on you. You need those to fall or make their way through every once in a while. You're going to hit 300.
Josh Bell 0 for 2. But Molly, just to finish up that thought about Garver and the A swing. Now we've seen Ryan Jeffers, right, guys? He's somebody that will change up his swing, his stance, where he has his hands with 2 strikes. But is that not the norm? Is he the exception?
I think that it's common now for guys not to get off their A swing even with 2 strikes. That's why you don't see a lot of good situational 2-out, 2-strike hitting. The guys that can do it, and also have a power component to their game, they're the top players in the game. And the abbreviated follow through that you talk about with Buck that he uses a lot, Garver kind of had that on his pull side too. It's something that they actually practice in their drills, in the cage, and in their pregame batting practice.
Line to right, that's a fair ball. And this will score 2 runs. Josh Bell on his way to second base, and he is in standing. And this is now an 8-4 game, and still just 1 out here in the 5th inning.
Just keep chipping away. This is kind of what I was talking about. Get it to within 1 swing. Now you load the bases. You can tie this thing up. Still got a lot of work left to do, but nice job by Bell of just keeping his barrel through the zone long enough to hook it in the corner for a double.
Bell now 2 RBI shy of 700 in his career. So back-to-back doubles, and Cody Clemens, speaking of doubles, to left center, he did that back in the 4th. It's a fair ball played behind the bag by Norby. Will take the out. Bell to third, 2 down. Keyshaw, third at bat here, Morty, and all three he's had a teammate in scoring position.
And he's been good in those situations this year. I think a lot of times, sometimes it's nice to see traffic out there and you simplify your approach and looking for something to be able to get that run in.
Q shot wide of first. Norby picks it up, feeds Meyer, and the inning is over. Twins get 2 on Bell's 2-run double. It's now 8-4 Miami.
In the U.S.
Minnesota Twins baseball is presented by Ram Trucks. Nothing stops Ram. And by Delta. From Twins territory to the world, Delta, official airline of the Minnesota Twins. Game 2 of a 9-game homestand. Miami for 3. Milwaukee in town for 3 this weekend. Houston starts the 3-game series on Monday. Twins down 4. Travis Adams back out for the 6th inning. The C hitters 9-1-2. Mack, Edwards, and Hicks. Mack won a minor league Gold Glove Award for skill set behind the plate back in 2024. We last saw Miami a season ago. Augustin Ramirez, he was part of the catching tandem. He's now in the minor leagues. And Mack is seeing quite a bit of playing time. And a foul tip hung on to by Caratini. That's a changeup and a strikeout. That's the 3rd for Adams. Nasty. Look at that tail. Yeah, Travis more or less in his, as Justin Topa is warming up with the bullpen. I'd call it exit interview, but just conversation at the end of last season. That's when the conversation was had about, hey, as you prepare for 2026, let's forget about the rotation, focus more on being an impact arm in the bullpen. To the gap in right center field, and Walder will see this one land and find the wall. Edwards has already a double tonight on his way to third base, and Lee drops it. And that'll be a triple for Edwards, his 2nd extra base hit tonight, 3rd time he has reached. Elevated.
Yeah, just going up and getting it, getting on top of it. Hit the. All 4 of his at-bats have ended in a fastball. First time he walked. Last time up it was a double on a 2-2 fastball.
Yeah, once that ball split the gap and ran all the way out to the wall with his speed, you're thinking 3 bases for sure.
Infield in, and now Hicks. He was in the spot of the 4th inning, infield in, and rolled a ground ball single past Keyshaw and drove in a pair. A 37 RBI for Hicks. 0-2. And with that swing, Hicks now tied with Matt Olson for the most runs batted in.
After the Twins scored those 2 runs, you like to see a shutdown inning. A little tough after that triple. See if we can get a swing and a miss here.
They go back below the zone where he just showed him.
Would throw a strike no matter what the pitch is.
To the right side, Edwards coming home. Keyshaw's throw, the tag, safe. Contact play was on, and Edwards coming home beat the throw from Keyshaw. 9-4 Miami.
Not sure if he broke his bat on this. Didn't sound great coming off, so tough play. And well, maybe that's Shelty just coming out to make a pitching change. Maybe he was going to have some words with Manny Gonzalez behind the plate.
So Justin Topa hasn't thrown since Wednesday in Washington, D.C. He will come in next as Adams departs here in the 6th inning. Miami answers back with 1, still batting, up 5. Now Miami scoring for the 9th time, and progressive wire cam. Let's take a look at the defense and the throw here, fellas.
Well, we highlighted this play earlier in the ball game and where the Twins infielders are playing. Their feet are on the grass, and this is a tough one because it was only hit 67 miles an hour off the bat. It was a broken bat, ground ball, but right at Keyshaw. This is the play he kind of has to make, and just unable to get the speed.
And it shows you why teams run the contact play, because here's a ground ball right at an infielder, and you get a good jump and anticipate the ball on the ground. You got a chance to beat the play and put pressure on the defense. And we still see with Keyshaw a little bit of the arm thing, because he drops down on a lot of throws, takes a little bit of that extra oomph off that throw, and just comes up a little bit short in terms of recording that out at home.
Otto Lopez seeing Justin Topa. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Haven't seen Topa in a bit, and Lopez is going to challenge the called strike. Miami with 2 challenges, and it was called a strike, and it was not. So a successful
Miami retained their 2
challenge from Otto Lopez. Now a 2-ball, no-strike count, but it's been a bit since we've seen Topa. Last time we saw him, he got knocked around by the Nationals on Wednesday in a 15-2 Twins loss.
Just a few days off, a little reset. I'd love to see him come out firing strikes. Travis Adams did a great job of that. 29 pitches, 25 strikes, but I'm so glad that my dad didn't want me to pitch. Well, when you hit, if you're an everyday, you're a position player, you get a chance every day to kind of erase yesterday, and instead of having to sit in the bullpen for 5 days and think about your next outing, it's like that. And I couldn't throw hard enough. That'd be probably another problem with me being a pitcher, but just not what Topa's looking for. Coming in here, falling behind, 3-ball count. Close pitch didn't go his way, but need to get outs here. You cannot let them score this stage of the game. You have 12 outs left as an offense. Hard enough to come back from 5 down, but you get it to 6-7.
6-7. Sorry,
getting late, huh?
Here's Stowers. It's for the kids. For the kids. Pickoff play at second, and it's into center field. Buxton will throw to second base, and everybody's safe, and that'll be an error on Topa. An accurate throw, Molly. They got a chance here.
Brooks wasn't there, so you wonder if this was a timing play off the pitch clock, and Topa went, and Brooks didn't. But
they caught Hicks leaning a little bit towards third, jumping out there trying to get a good secondary. And for some reason, Brooks didn't make a very aggressive break to the bag. Topa didn't have much of a target.
Infield again in for Stowers. Over 2 of the walk as Topa misses inside.
That'll be an E1 on that play.
It's the second error for the Twins here tonight. Keyshaw in the first, and now Topa here in the 6th. Broken bat to second. Keyshaw again comes home, and the tag this time is applied by Caratini, and Hicks is out. So 2 down. Lopez to third. Stowers safe at first.
Yeah, that ball hit even at a lower velocity than the last one we saw hit out towards Keyshaw, but a little less speed over there at third. Again, that drop down throw by Keyshaw. Nice catch and tag by Caratini.
Obviously,
a high throw.
The hop dictates how you attack a baseball, but he was a little more aggressive with that one, kind of getting short of that distance on the throw as well.
Catchers too, we go back and check where Caratini was set up. So much is made about, is the catcher in a legal fielding position, but there's a little more leeway that the umpires give with the infield in, knowing that there's not going to be as much time that the catchers have to align their feet as opposed to a ball that's hit in the outfield on a relay throw back in.
And that was something that there was a lot of discussion when they changed that rule about positioning of a catcher. allowing a sliding lane for the base runner, and the ball in the infield, back to the pitcher, infield in or whatever, a lot of times that catcher just doesn't have enough time to really, pay attention to where his feet are going to be when he jumps out in front of the plate.
Felt like when that rule first came in, we had a challenge on that about once a week. And then it's kind of slowed down. Catchers have adjusted. I think we have a better understanding, too, of the rule. And you technically are still allowed to run the catcher. We just don't see it anymore.
He has to have the ball, right? Catcher has to have the ball. Runner at first goes, pitches inside, and it's a ball and no throw from Caratini. Stolen base number 1 for Stowers.
Just haven't seen the Twins elect to throw on first and thirds with 2 outs very often this year when that situation has arisen.
Three and 2 the count on Norby. 1 for 3 here tonight. And a foul tip hung out to by Caratini. And a strikeout. Miami adds 1. The lead is back up to 5. It's a beautiful night here at Target Field, but the Twins are down 5, getting late here at Target Field.
The lineup at Target.
StatCast 3D is powered by Google Cloud. Let's take a look at the night. Ollie here from Golden Gopher alum Max Meyer has returned to town.
Yeah, he has shown a nice mix, and like we talked in the pregame, that slider sweeper combination, the high whiff rate on both of those pitches.
It hasn't been a surprise of what he's done.
No.
Caratini sends one to left center, and that is going to land for a leadoff single. His first hit tonight.
And with all that we've talked about, his the effectiveness and the strikeouts and some of the things that he's shown us as far as his arsenal, we have kept a little bit of pressure on him. We got the last inning, played it a couple. Buxton's couple of homers.
They had a chance to shorten that lead too, just unable to put a ball in play, but there has been traffic.
And that's what Matt Wallner Morning has seen plenty tonight. Not too many elevated fastballs yet. It's been breaking balls down.
It's just when you're struggling, it feels like you're 0-1 every time you walk up to the plate. You just go up there and say, okay, I'm going to have a long at bat. I'm going to try and see some pitches, and then you fall behind, and that plan just goes out the window after you fall behind. It's so hard when you're kind of where Wally's at right now. Just trying to find your swing, trying to have a consistent approach, try and get a pitch you like, and then 0-1, change up off the plate, fastball up under your hands, and just.
You combine that with the fact he's had, some success at this level. But now as of late, Shelty's been giving him some breaks against right-handed pitchers, trying to get his game back in order. And so when you do get back in that lineup, there's that little extra pressure that you need to perform that maybe you hadn't felt that for a while, particularly early in the year when you were starting every day, even against left-handed pitching.
1-2 on Wallner.
It's also got to be interesting for Wallner for how many fastballs up he has seen this year, that the way they've attacked him, you kind of get used to it as a hitter of how the league's coming at you and how they're getting you out, especially when you're hitting under 200 and you're kind of struggling to get things going, and then all of a sudden come into a game where it's breaking ball down.
And a challenge here upcoming from Mack on a backdoor sweeper. And Mack was correct, and Wallner strikes out for the third time, first time looking, and that's now a season high 9 strikeouts for Meyer. His career high is 14. That happened last year early against Cincinnati. Third win for the rookie Mack at a small sample.
They just keep making pitches on you. It's like there's nothing in your mind that can tell you to pull the trigger on that pitch. That ball's off the plate until it just barely clips the corner as it comes back towards the zone. we talked about earlier about A swings and you know, trying to do damage. He's in the lineup to do damage. He's in the lineup to hit the ball hard. So are we going to see him kind of try and foul that ball off to keep the at-bat alive and just sort of flick it? I'm not sure that's where his swing is at right now. But there's an adjustment that he's trying to make, and he just hasn't been able to make it yet.
It's a season-high pitches thrown by Meyer, as Gray sends it to right center field. On the moves goes Marcy to the wall, has a play right near the 403 sign. Garatini back to first. So 2 down as Gray just missed. Out to straightaway center. Byron Buxton coming up 2 for 3 tonight. 2 home runs. All stay good hands. Takes a look at the Buck truck here tonight.
Well, first fastball he saw. Meyer didn't get that one back, and then next at bat they tried the sinker. Also didn't get that one back. This guy's been on fire. He's been carrying this offense. He's been doing so many things that you like. That'll be the end of Max Meyer's night.
Looks like Anthony Bender is coming in, and Meyer should get a nice hand as he departs here, target field.
A 100 years.
Well, the night is over for Max Meyer, and the Woodbury native had a good outing here tonight, battling his return home.
Yeah, he has to feel pretty good about that. He did give up a few runs, including the home runs to Buxton, which showed that he had that swing and miss stuff tonight. Some of the Twins a little bit baffled by his arsenal. Nice ovation from the little Gopher contingent down to our left.
I just thought it was impressive that first start back at home, give up a home run on the first pitch you throw in your home ballpark, or the one you grew up coming to, and he was still able to pitch deep into this game. It didn't let it affect him seemingly at all. Didn't shy away from the zone. Still used all his pitches. Threw a really good ball game, and one that he'll probably remember for the rest of his life.
We said right away after that leadoff home run how he would respond here. Probably, although he wouldn't admit it, had a little more adrenaline and emotion tonight.
So Buxton 2 for 3 here tonight. Tyler Phillips is on to pitch. Marlins had Anthony Bender up for the bullpen, but this is righty Tyler Phillips. His fastball velocity is up. Through around 95 last year, it's up over 96 on average so far this year.
But not throwing it a ton. It's interesting to see. I wonder how much the pitch calling from the dugout is influencing how much off speed, especially these relievers, are using, and how much that's playing into it.
And the dirt smothered nicely by Mack. And Phillips is a guy that the Marlins have leaned on in recent years. He's led the Marlins bullpen in innings. He's ranked 3rd in appearances in the past. And we just showed you the assistant pitching coach in the Marlins dugout. That's Rob Marcello. He is responsible for sending in the pitches. And Morning, there's the sequence we talked about. It's done numerically. Now what it means is known to those inside that dugout. Popped up near first, and Connor Norby makes the play to end the inning. Now coming up on Sunday, Twins and the Brewers here from Target Field, and Target Field will be shell-shocked for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Day. Snag the special theme package and score an exclusive Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle jersey. Get your tickets and your gear right now. Twins.com/TMNT. Our Progressive Wire Cam here at Target Field. Beautiful night, but all Marlins here 9-4, 7th inning. And Justin Topa back out to begin the 7th. Jacob Marcy 0 for 2 with a walk. Leads off the inning. And Challenge here from Caratini.
The catcher is challenged at ball call.
Pitch is the strike.
Well, Mr. Morneau, Mr. Caratini was right earlier, and he was right again.
Ball is a strike, 1-0.
That's two very, very, very close pitches that he's gotten right. Catchers know, though.
They do.
Not afraid.
They're close to 60% overturn rate. Hitters are below 50%. Pitchers aren't allowed to do it.
Caught Caratini 0-2.
So I wonder how much, I know catchers see more pitches than anyone and have familiarity with the umpires and strike zones and everything else, but the start that Jeffers is off to and his knowledge of the strike zone, how good he's been at challenging, you wonder if that's also playing into his at-bats. And the trust that he has in the system, especially with how successful he's been, if that's just kind of fed into his confidence that he knows the strike zone.
I would think that catchers almost throughout history have had that advantage of just seeing more pitches and shapes and how they come in and what that zone can be. And now that that's kind of a locked-in factor.
Yeah, he was good at it too. I mean, he had knowledge of the strike zone from day one. Come up to the big leagues and just that far off. Nope, that's a ball.
He had knowledge of the strike zone and T-ball. He said, yeah, that T's a little too high. You gotta lower that thing a little bit.
3-2 on Marcy. We'll have a day game here tomorrow. Pitching plans have changed for Miami. The Twins were expected to see Robbie Snelling, highly touted, hard-throwing Marlins rookie, but he was put on the injured list today with an elbow injury, so the Twins will not see him. Instead, Braxton Garrett, another lefty, he will start, and this will be his first outing in the big league since 2024. He's coming back from surgery. So let's see Snelling here for Game 3 tomorrow. Garrett for Miami, and the Twins have not yet announced their pitching plans. Hopefully we'll get some more clarity coming up on Twins postgame with Marnie and Tim and Audra. Stay tuned for that later on tonight. Leo Jimenez, starting third baseman tonight. He's had a good night. 2 for 3, a single, a double, 2 runs.
The difference a day makes. By this point last night, I was in my car heading home. The complete game shutout that Bailey Ober threw, and a little different ball game tonight. More offense on display, but
a lot more pitches.
Yep. And day game tomorrow. Quick turnaround. But both games can be entertaining.
Sure.
Depending on what you like. I like Buxton hitting homers.
And if the Twins decide to make it an even longer night by putting up 5 or 6 in the last 3 innings, I'm in on that.
Bucks to the 2-homer night. '19 career multi-homer games, third most in team history, one shy of tying Justin Morneau for second most. Yeah, Topa's 1-2. Their foul ball.
Yeah, Topa, when he came over here, we all thought he was going to be a ground ball machine. Turned out he's used those other pitches a lot more. The cutter, changeup. Seems like he's just having trouble finding that one pitch he can trust when he needs to make a pitch.
3-hit game for Jimenez. And this year, too, the strikeout rate down, the walk rate for Topa is noticeably higher. And with that, we saw the whip for Topa when he came in. It's near 2. It's a tough place to live with a whip that high. Walks and hits per inning.
Well, it goes hand in hand with what we talked about in the overall walk rate being higher in the industry. Some of the pitchers are going to have to pay the price for that.
Yeah, those guys who lived on the edges and just off and late movement, relied on those types of things. Probably not a huge difference for the guys who can overpower you and throw a 98-mile-an-hour fastball at you.
And we're something that we've talked about certainly with Glenn Perkins as well, about how we're seeing pitchers maybe utilize the top of the strike zone now more in an ABS era. With what we have seen on the field, maybe if you're just watching other teams, other pitchers, more starters, would you say, than relievers are taking advantage of maybe that higher strike than we've seen in the past?
Yeah, I mean, if you have 85 to 100 pitches to be able to take that shot at the top of the zone and see if that's somewhere you can go. But I think if you're a reliever coming in the game, you don't want to take that chance of I'm trying to hit it with the top of the zone with a breaking ball, and all of a sudden it has a little more depth than you like and ends up right in the heart of the zone and gets hit.
A change of pace there, and Casey strikes out. Second strikeout for Topa, 2 down here in the Miami 7th.
Yeah, good depth on that turnover change up there by Topa. You know, the top of the zone thing, you see a lot of breaking balls, though, that are called up there. And maybe it's not with intent, but I think some guys have tried to figure out how to use their breaking pitch at the top of the zone as well as the strike to ball pitch that they use at the bottom of the zone.
Joe Mack, 1 for 3 tonight, an RBI single and a run, also 2 strikeouts. And it's 0-2.
We mentioned a roster move possibly happening. The Twins decide not to go with the bullpen day tomorrow. Saints are home, so normally that would be a big challenge with your AAA team wherever they're at, and you have a 12:40 start the next day. It'd be almost impossible to get somebody here, but one of the benefits of having your AAA team across town.
Kendry Rojas and Travis Adams, they joined the Twins from Las Vegas last week in Cleveland. Outside throw to second base, and sliding feet first safely is Jimenez, his first stolen base of the season. He was looking back. We were talking earlier about, seeing runners kind of look back at the pitch, and that time Jimenez did.
Yeah, I'm on that. I think you got to find the ball when you're stealing bags. You could see he was getting a little antsy over there once he got the 2 strikes, trying to figure out a way to get in the scoring position.
With you though, you stole obviously many more bases than I did, but does it really slow you down if you take a peek in after your second or third step?
There's a right way mechanically to do that, Justin, where you don't lose any of your forward momentum. You don't want to raise up to have to turn your body in to find the ball. Just a little head turn you can pick up when that ball goes to the hitting zone.
Mack flies out to Buxton, and the inning is over. Time to stretch. Twins down 5. Twins baseball powered by MLB.
Every
9-4 Marlins as we look at our game summary brought to you by Toyota. Xavier Edwards with a big day for the Marlins, 2 for 3 with a double, a triple, a run driven in, and a couple of runs scored. How about Byron Buxton? He stays hot. Second multi-home run game of the season, 19th of his career. Both of those long balls coming on the first pitch he saw of his at-bats. And unfortunately, though, another tough one for Simeon Woods Richardson. 3 innings of work here tonight, 8 runs on the board, 7 hits, handful of walks, and 1 strikeout, guys.
Audra, thank you as we begin the home 7th. Twins down 5. Phillips back out for Miami. Brooks Lee 0 for 2 with a walk and a run. Leads off the inning. Miami's bullpen has been a strength. 19-23, the Marlins' overall record, but Miami's bullpen paces the big leagues, allowing a 189 batting average against. That's the best in baseball. They've allowed the fewest hits so far of any bullpen in the game, and they've featured different arms, righties, lefties, with velocity.
lots of different pitch mixes, a lot of off speed, a lot of spin coming out of that pin. As you mentioned, above average velocity. But
Chop to second, and Edwards throws out Lee.
From Twins territory to the world, Delta, official airline of the Minnesota Twins.
One down.
I think in what is typically known as a copycat league, somebody will do something, everyone else researches it. This, I don't know if you call it an experiment, but the Marlins being a team that's going to call pitches from the dugout, the rest of the league is going to kind of pay attention to that. I know we've talked about the Twins are doing it in the minor leagues, and Colorado's doing it in the big leagues as well. Pretty hard to maybe measure the impact, but also if you're looking at, okay, they're best in the league at batting average against out of the bullpen, you have to pay attention to it. When a team's doing something well, you do need to kind of.
I do think you have to pay attention to it. Obviously, there's the, the element of how good the guys are to begin with, right? And how to best maybe give them a chance. Talked about all the things that go along with it. Catchers not having the ability to control a game. And then this Marlins team as a whole, when you look at their roster, there's not a lot of overly familiar names, whether it's offensively or on their pitching staff. But as Corey alluded to, that bullpen's been really good through the first quarter of the season.
0-2 on Josh Bell. Well, Miami began this in the big leagues the last 9 games of 2025. So you take those last 9 games and the first now 40+ games. Now the personnel is not exactly the same, but still pretty close, and they've chopped a run off their team ERA. Smaller sample, but still the numbers are better, have been better since Miami went with this strategy late last year.
Critics and audience.
This 9-game homestand continues as we look at our upcoming schedule, brought to you by Progressive. Tomorrow it's the series finale coming your way in the afternoon against the Marlins, then a 3-game set against Milwaukee, and finally 3 against the Houston Astros. But Corey, you keep promoting Ninja Turtle Day on Sunday. Just wanted to let you know I may or may not have a Ninja Turtle onesie. It would be way too hot to wear down here in the camera well, so I just figured I would volunteer to let one of you guys borrow it. You've got air conditioning up there, so if you guys want to be in the Ninja Turtle mood, you just let me know. I got you covered.
So you have the attire.
I do.
You have the attire that we could rock that. What do you think, Molly? What do you think? Should we dress up as Leonardo, Donatello?
Mine is Michelangelo.
Michelangelo, that's fine. Raphael, Splinter, even too.
Astudillo, somebody.
Astudillo, even better. Throw out a La Tortuga jersey. I love that, Molly. Great idea. As Edwards lines out to Buxton, 1 down. All right, something to think about and ponder here.
Oh, Michelangelo is my favorite Ninja Turtle, but unfortunately I'll be at my nephew's grad party, so I'll leave it up to you guys.
I heard it's a really small costume.
So does that mean you're volunteering? Somebody else?
You're looking at me. Are you looking at me?
You looking at me, kid?
You looking at me? Hey, anything for Twins TV.
Anything?
Most of the time. Tristan Gray, we've seen this route often tonight, and he does it again.
3 for 3.
Man.
This one, the first one was probably the toughest one, but he went the longest for this one and had to contend with Austin Martin running towards him. And Austin does a great job at the end of this play jumping out of the way, but just focus. I think, what did Correa say on that play?
He looks up to the sky. He finds the ball. He wants the ball. As the ball is descending, he wants it to be right in the middle of the bill of his cap. So he looks straight up, and if that ball is lined up truly in the middle of his bill, that's where he wants to be.
I guess I was never quite that technical about chasing those pop-ups down like that. But you're right. I think he's gone a long way for all 3 of those balls, and that one Martin was more in the mix. That's what he had to contend with, as you mentioned, Justin.
Correa would have liked that effort once again from Tristan Gray. 0-2 the count, and Otto Lopez.
And with Houston coming into town on Monday, unfortunately Correa done for the season with ankle surgery, but we were all kind of looking forward to that and seeing how he was going to be welcomed back, but we'll have to wait till next year for that.
We all know that he's had some issues with his feet in the past and all those type of things, but the way that one happened just sounded pretty odd in the, taking batting practice.
Not the angle, or not the ankle that the Giants and the Mets were concerned with, actually the other ankle. So yeah, just a crazy play working on a drill in the cage and just popped on him.
Struck him out. Splitter from Garcia. 3 up, 3 down. And a strikeout for Luis Garcia. Tristan Gray. He's done this now 3 times. With a shoulder catch. Well done by Gray.
The lineup at
Move. Get out the way, because Ludacris is taking over Target Field with a post-game show on Friday, June 26th. Fans stick around post-game for the show, and a limited number of VIP field access passes are available. Don't act a fool, Molly. Get your tickets and show up for Ludacris Friday, June 26th here at Target Field.
All area codes welcome.
Cody Clemens sends it high and deep to right center field. John King allows a rare hit and a rare home run. Lefty on lefty damage there from Cody Clemens. His second hit tonight. It's now 9-5.
Batter's 3 for 51 off King coming into this game. Cody Clemens didn't let that affect his at bat. He went up there and got himself a good pitch to hit and hit it off the facing of the second deck. This ball went a long way.
Yeah, it looked like a slider that just hung over the middle. You mentioned King's numbers have been incredible here through his first 19 appearances. Only 3 hits in 19 appearances. At first pitch slider, left on left, Clemens. No doubter.
Ends a run for King. Had not allowed a run over his last 11 appearances. And Cody changes that with his 4th home run. And the Twins are down 4, nobody out. Keyshaw 0 for 3 tonight. And a 1-ball, 1-strike count here on Luke in the 8th inning. .419 feet the distance on Cody's home run. As Morty would say, that ball was smushed.
Flat on one side.
And a challenge here from Mack. It was a 2-1 pitch called low. Mack has been good tonight. Not this time. 3-1.
Call it the ball. Miami got 1 challenge to remain.
I like that challenge too. Be able to flip a count, get it to 2 strikes, 4-run lead. Don't let them creep back into this game. Fortunately, it goes Twins' way.
Time. I've spoken with Ryan Jeffers about that topic many times, and he says it's not just about the strike zone. Do I think it's a ball? Do I think it's a strike? It's about leverage. It's about sequence. It's about where we're at in the game. Base runners. Left side, and Lopez in front of Edwards, and close play throws out Keyshaw. Always hustling for out number 1. That makes sense. The more you think about it, it's not just, is this a strike? Is it not? Maybe it's close, but where are we at as a team? The inning, the situation, that plays a big role.
It definitely does, and I think that's something that it's been a little bit of trial and error, in that you're not exactly sure which calls are going to be overly significant to how the game might potentially play out. And you're just asking guys, yes, we trust you, but you got to have some discretion on the situations.
1 in, 1 out, and now Victor Caratini will bat from the right side. He's reached twice tonight. Single and a walk. Caratini better numbers offensively at home than he's fared on the road. Clemens, his 4th home run. He's made this a 4-run game. Lace to right. That's going to hang up for Casey. It was 100 off the bat, but out number 2. Now Matt Wallner, rough night against fellow Minnesotan Max Meyer. 3 at-bats, 3 strikeouts.
Doesn't get any easier here against a tough lefty.
John King, originally drafted by the Rangers in 2017. 31 years old.
Yeah, King likes that sinker. It's not overpowering. It's only around 90 miles an hour. He kind of hides the ball well.
It's amazing now. You look up and you go, okay, finally somebody who's not throwing 97 coming out of the pen. And if they're not, there's some funk. There's something they do with movement of their fastball, movement of their pitches, something exceptional, arm angle, the way they deliver the ball, something. It's not necessarily like you look up and go, okay, he's only throwing 90, 91. It's like, okay, what tricks is he going to have for me here?
Mentioned that King now has allowed 4 hits all year. 3 of the 4 hits to lefties. 1 hit he's allowed to a righty was a home run. That was off of his 4-seam fastball. Here the Miami dugout, no play. Beautiful target field. Runs down 4 late tonight. Game 2 of this series. Day game here tomorrow. And then Milwaukee in town for 3 starting on Friday night. Kings 1-2 to Wallner. And Matt Wallner with a 4 strikeout night. And the inning is over. The Twins, though, add 1. Cody Clemens. Lefty on left damage against John King. And did not miss it. A long way out to right for his 4th home run.
With the Bank of America.
Luis Garcia had a 1-2-3 8th and back out for the 9th with Miami batting leading by 4. Kyle Stowers. We're thinking back to that trade that the Marlins and Orioles finalized a couple of years ago at the deadline, with Miami receiving Stowers and Norby, and lefty Trevor Rogers going back to Baltimore. In that trade early on, that looked like a one-sided, lopsided, heavy Miami win, because Stowers got off to a blistering start. Rogers struggled, eventually went down to the minor leagues. You thought, boy, this is disastrous. But then Rogers, as we saw, opening day, he's dealt with some injury now, but still, the way that he finished last season. Now, Rogers is going to be a free agent at season's end. While Stowers and Norby, they're under team control for a while.
Rogers came back last night. First pitch he threw off the injured list. Goldschmidt took him deep in Baltimore. Well, welcome back. But yeah, you're right. It was at first it was like, uh-oh, what happened here? The guy we traded for is in AAA, but kind of turned that around.
And to the bat, Stowers pops it up to Gray. And he's been busy at third tonight, 1 away.
You don't need to be a sloth, just don't be a cheetah. Slow down and enjoy the ride. Hey, we can live with it.
Remember, we saw Miami here as the Twins season came to that disappointing end. That last week of 2024, the Marlins were in town for that penultimate series before the Orioles were here to finish up the season. But we're looking at Stowers and Norby, and both had impactful days here at the ballpark, and that ended the Twins' playoff hopes. And that was simultaneously with Rogers down to the minor leagues. Like, what happened here? Stowers, an all-star last year, 25 home runs. He's dealt with some injury, but still high ceiling for him. Speaking of Norby, that worked out well. Base hit to center.
Sometimes those situations that GMs and ownership are faced with as far as trades and moving players, you're not going to get the true test for a while. I mean, even some of the deals that the Twins made last year, kind of send a little bit of alarm around the Twins fan base, but let's give it some time. See how some of these guys pan out.
We won't know how that graded out for years. Overall. And you can dissect certain ones, yes, but I'm saying just as a whole, it's going to take time.
And sometimes it's win-win, right?
Yeah.
Both teams make out.
So most GMs will tell you that hopefully it works out for both sides. And obviously, you want to win the trade, but
They want to win the trade.
Yeah.
Believe me.
Orby runs and a foul ball. Or is it not? Is that a live ball?
did he? Oh, so the sound was.
Yeah, that's going to be a live ball and a stolen base for Norby.
It sounded like there was two noises. Usually that's the foul ball and then the off the catcher, but maybe it was glove, shin guard or something. But that split is nasty. Also, he was popping up to throw. And there was two sounds off the end of the glove and then off his foot ankle.
So a call there from Manny Gonzalez. So Norby is 5th stolen base. 1 and 2 on Marcy. To first, and Clemens behind the bag will take it himself. 2 down, Norby to third. And the batter will be Leo Jimenez, who's had a great night. He came in batting 200 in 12 games. He's 3 for 4. He's playing them all. Jimenez is top of the Blue Jays and the Marlins. He's never had a 4-hit game in his big league career. Twins will have Gray, Buxton, and Lee due up in the 9th. Shallow left center field. Martin coming in. He'll track it down. And the inning ends. Bottom 9, Twins down 4.
Life gives us enough to deal with.
Welcome back. Twins trailing bottom of the 9th. This copyright telecast is presented by authority of the Minnesota Twins. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Minnesota Twins.
Tristan Graves had a really good night defensively at third base. Twins get their second look at righty Josh Eknes in this series. Throws hard. Saw him last night.
Some life to that fastball. Averages 97 with it.
Yeah, he'll throw the 4-seam and that 2-seam, but he's not afraid to use it.
Scoreless inning for Eknes last night, despite walking 3 batters. Story Ruiz is now in left field. 1-2 count on Gray. Twins have struck out 11 times tonight. Struck out 10 times last night. Byron on deck. Eknes homegrown, drafted by the Marlins 12th round pick in 2023. Again, the 1-2 to Gray. Check swing and no swing.
He's throwing wiffle balls out there. That ball is moving all over the place. That fastball's got some life. It's got some ride on it. Lower arm slot.
And a challenge here from Mack. Marlins have 1 remaining. Try to backdoor that sweeper. And Mack felt pretty confident once he caught it. And Mack was correct.
Ball is overturned. The batter is out. Miami retains.
Wow. I mean, that. I feel like the umpires are getting so used to this system that they're just continuing to improve. And the calls that have been overturned tonight have been
close.
Like within, seems like within a quarter inch of that strike zone, all of them.
One down, and here's Buxton, 2 for 4, 2 home runs. Twins have played well in series openers. With the win last night, the Twins are 8-6 in series opening games. But then this game 2 has, for the most part, not gone the way of the guys in that first base dugout. That's why we've seen so many rubber games. The Twins won their second rubber game of the season Sunday in Cleveland.
Is that something, Molly, you would try and figure out as a manager? Why? Or is that not even something that you would be aware of?
I'd be aware of it, but I wouldn't like it. But I'm not sure there's a lot I could do to change it, right? I mean, where am I at in my rotation? You know, I'll freshen my bullpen. There's different reasons that, you know, you can't extend those little winning streaks. You know, instead of 3, maybe get it out to 6 or 7. But yeah, you know, the series we've had tough time winning 2 out of 3 in a lot of these series, and a lot of times, even after winning that first game, we haven't been able to find a way to win one of the next 2 ball games. Hopefully that trend discontinues here.
Up until the recent series win in Cleveland, the Twins had gone nearly a month between series wins. They won 2 out of 3 here against the Red Sox. Brooksley 0 for 3 with a walk and a run tonight. There's 97 up. If you're Connor Norby right now, Minnesota kid, you think that's, you know, pretty cool, getting a chance to, you know, hang out with Byron Buxton at first base, because Byron doesn't walk too often. He doesn't hit too many singles.
He doesn't stop at first very often.
So it's like, hey,
I think it is.
Yes.
You know, I mean, being a Minnesota sports fan guy, you know.
And Lee knew he went 2 down.
You know, when you first start getting introduced to the big leagues, whether it's, you know, 10 games in, 50 games in, your first year, anytime along the way, and you know, all of a sudden you're standing out there to one of the games you lead. It gives you a little chill sometimes. You know?
That's what happened to me with Griffey the first time, you know, growing up close to Seattle and seeing him in his heyday and playing the Reds in spring training. I'm in there for non-roster player time in 7th or 8th inning. I get to first, I look at him, I go, what are you still doing in this game?
Yeah, there's moments. I was playing shortstop in Milwaukee, and first series Reggie Jackson hit a double, and timeout was called, and he stuck out his hand and said, "Reggie Jackson, nice to meet you," right out there at second base. And I gave him that little wet dead fish because I wasn't. I was going.
Robin's watching.
I was shaking.
Yeah.
Robin wasn't there. That's why I had a chance to play. But,
yes,
but
sir,
yeah,
yes, sir, Mr. Jackson. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you,
Mr. October.
Jackson.
Yeah.
He still, when he sends me texts, signs of Mr. October.
Does he really?
Yeah. But Kenny Griffey for you, Reggie for me. Yeah, I'm Byron Buxton.
It has to mean something, and I think it's pretty cool too. I'm sure he's hoping that somebody he knows is taking a picture, and that's one you kind of put up on your wall. And you know, here's where I knew I made it.
The 1-2 to Austin Martin, and this should do it. To right center, and Casey makes the play, and the Marlins even up this series, had a game apiece with a 9-5 victory. Rubber game at 12:40 tomorrow. We start Twins pregame at noon. That'll do it for us from the Dick Bramer television booth here at Target Field. For Justin Morneau, Paul Molitor, Corey Provis saying so long and good night for now. More to come. Twins postgame. Marty, Tim, Audra standing by next on Twins TV.
Did I love making